The envelope landed with a slap against the table, thick, worn, sealed with red wax. Aaron Solon stared at it like it might bite. The note attached had only 4 words. "This is your map." He tore it open, breath shaky. Inside was not money or a deed, but a folded parchment covered in lines, arrows, and words that made no sense. Desire, fear, faith, doubt, purpose, comfort, vision. It looked less like a treasure map and more like someone's philosophy drawn by hand. He frowned. What is this supposed to be? Across the table, the old man just smiled. Elder Cale, quiet eyes, voice like slow thunder. "It's the map everyone receives," he said, "but only a few learn to read it." Aaron scoffed. "I was expecting something that could actually help me, not poetry." Cale leaned closer. "The difference between those who rise and those who break is not the map. It's the reader. Most people think they're searching for wealth, but wealth is only the destination. The map is life itself, the choices you make along the way." Aaron didn't understand, but something in Cale's voice stopped him from leaving. That night, he unfolded the parchment again under the yellow light of his room. Lines crisscrossed like roads, some leading upward to words like freedom and peace, others downward to regret and ruin. In the middle, a circle was marked choice. He stared at it for a long time. It felt ridiculous, yet strangely true. The next morning, he told his friend Lyra Dane. She laughed. "Aaron, you met some philosopher who sells riddles, and now you're playing cartographer of destiny?" He smiled weakly. "I don't know. It feels like there's something in it. He said everyone gets this map, but most stop reading after the first wrong turn." Lyra rolled her eyes. "You don't need maps, you need money. And to get that, you work, save, invest. Simple." Aaron wanted to agree, but the words, "the map everyone receives," kept echoing. Days passed. He carried the parchment everywhere, even at work. It made him look mad, but it kept him grounded somehow. When he faced small choices, he'd glance at it. Comfort or growth? Approval or purpose? At first it seemed silly, but soon patterns appeared. When he chose comfort, the days blurred, safe but stagnant. When he chose growth, things became harder, but life felt alive. Then came the test. His company announced a new project, one that promised big bonuses but involved hiding a few numbers in the reports. Everyone called it harmless. Aaron hesitated. Shortcut or process? The words from the map stared back at him. He refused to sign. The manager laughed. "Your morality won't pay bills, Solon." He was fired 2 weeks later. Lyra found him sitting outside the cafe Cale often visited. "You really quit over a few digits?" she asked. "That's not noble, that's naive." Aaron clenched his fists. "Maybe, but something tells me that map wasn't about easy wins." Cale appeared then, calm as always, and sat beside them. "You lost your job," he said softly. Aaron nodded. "Because I chose right over rich." Cale smiled faintly. "No, you chose vision over blindness. Remember, the map rewards those who walk through storms, not around them." Lyra snorted. "Easy for you to say, old man. He's broke." Kyle looked at her kindly. "Every rich man once stood where he is, the crossroads. But the poor man walks past it, thinking the road is just another turn." Aaron said nothing, but deep down, something in him shifted. That night, as he walked home, he passed an abandoned print shop he used to ignore. The sign was faded, the windows broken. Yet he stopped. The map's words flashed in his mind. Desire, faith, action, risk, freedom. He stood there for minutes, watching the dust swirl under the moonlight. "What if," he whispered, The next morning, he withdrew the last of his savings and rented the space. Everyone called him insane. "It's dead property," they said. "You'll lose everything." He ignored them. He spent days cleaning, painting, dreaming. Cale visited sometimes, quietly watching. "Most people wait for proof before they act," he said. "But maps don't reveal paths to the fearful." Slowly, the space became a small design studio, something simple, something his own. The first month, nothing happened. The second, one client came, then another, then a referral. Lyra saw him one evening, tired but glowing. "You actually made this work?" Aaron smiled. "Barely, but it feels right." She frowned. "Right doesn't pay rent," he laughed. "It's starting to." She stared at the parchment pinned on his wall. "You still look at that thing?" "Every day," she shook her head. "You really think that map built you?" Aaron looked at her and said quietly, "No, it showed me how to build myself." The narrator's voice would fade briefly into reflection. Some people look for maps to guide them. Others learn to become the map. If you've ever wondered why some rise while others crumble, it's not luck, it's sight. If this story has already stirred something in you, a thought, a memory, a choice, pause for a moment. Then subscribe to this channel. Like this video, share it with someone who keeps asking for direction, yet never looks within, because sometimes the map you need is already in your hands. Aaron's studio grew slowly. He hired 2 people. The map remained on the wall, a compass in ink. But success has a way of testing the same lessons it once rewarded. One day, a large client came, wealthy, demanding, and dishonest. The contract was huge. Signing it could triple his income. But the client whispered, "We'll need to move a few numbers, make the designs look richer than they are." Aaron froze. He went home, sat under the lamplight, and unfolded the parchment again. Integrity or convenience? The path of convenience ran straight to ruin. He closed his eyes. "Not again," he murmured. That's when the next storm began. The storm that would test whether he'd learned to follow the map or just memorize it. Aaron stared at the contract for hours. The zeros gleamed like gold, but behind them, he could feel the weight of his soul being tested again. It was the same crossroad, only this time the stakes were higher. Lyra called him that night. "Aaron, this deal could change everything. Why are you hesitating? Don't overthink it. Rich people bend rules every day." He looked at the parchment on his desk. Integrity or convenience? He whispered, "And that's why most of them stay poor in peace, not rich in spirit." She didn't understand. "You can't feed principles to a landlord." He smiled sadly. "Maybe not, but I can't build my freedom on lies." He declined the offer the next morning. The client smiled politely, shook his hand, and never came back. Within weeks, whispers spread that Aaron was too righteous to be practical. Work slowed, payments delayed, his savings thinned. Lyra visited him again. "You're sinking, Aaron. Maybe Elder Cale's philosophy isn't built for this world." Aaron replied quietly, "Maybe this world isn't built for people who still believe in their maps." That night, he walked to Cale's usual cafe, but the seat by the window was empty. The owner told him Elder Cale had passed away a week ago. He sat there alone for a long time. Outside, rain began to fall, soft at first, then fierce. He pulled the map from his coat pocket, but it was soaked now, ink bleeding into water. The lines vanished. The roads disappeared. Only one word remained visible: choice. Aaron pressed the paper to his chest, whispering, "You left me with nothing." But somewhere deep inside, a calm voice answered, Not from the paper, but from within. No, I left you with everything. That night marked the beginning of Aaron's transformation. He realized Kale hadn't given him a roadmap. He'd given him a mirror. The map had never shown him where to go. It had only revealed who he was becoming. From that day, Aaron stopped looking for directions. He began to trust his inner compass. Every choice he made became deliberate. Every no, a declaration of self-respect. Every yes, a step toward clarity. Years passed quietly. His studio grew again, slowly but steadily. Not because of luck, but because his work carried something rare: integrity. People began to notice. Clients returned, drawn by the trust his name evoked. Lyra visited one afternoon. Her voice was soft now. "You actually did it," she said. "You built something real." He smiled faintly. "I didn't build it. Choices did." She looked at the faded parchment hanging behind him, now framed. The ink was almost gone. "You kept it all this time?" Aaron nodded. "Because it reminds me, wealth isn't made by maps, but by moments. The map just helps you see them before they pass." The same map that built Aaron could have built anyone, but most never read beyond the first turn. The poor looked for shortcuts. The rich looked for principles. The rest stopped looking altogether. Every choice is a road. Some lead to peace, some to regret. But all of them reveal what we truly worship: comfort or growth, fear or faith, greed or gratitude. The destination isn't the difference. The direction is. So ask yourself, which road are you on right now? The one built by clarity or the one built by convenience? A calm breath. Then the voice continues with warmth and conviction. If this story opened your eyes, even a little, take a second to subscribe to Money Parables. Like this video and share it with someone who's standing at a crossroad. Because the map that builds or breaks us isn't drawn on paper. It's written in every decision we make.